Hi, I'm Carl, and welcome back to SMA. We're going to try something a little bit different this week. We tried something different last week with the Batman review, and it kind of got me thinking about Batman and superheroes in general. So as I was working on the Batman script, something sort of occurred to me, and that is that Gotham's problems were mostly problems that could be solved without a Batman. If you look at when the Batman comics were written, started in the 1930s, New York City was a much different place than it is now. High crime, and because of that, there was this idea of this sort of old west gunfighter coming in to clean up town and solving all their problems. But really, New York City's problems were solved by regular people doing regular things. And so, at least for modern day America, really Batman doesn't have a place in our world. There's nothing that Batman brings or that Batman could do that we can't do for ourselves. So that got me thinking about other superheroes. And specifically, it got me thinking about Superman. Superman is a different kind of hero. Superman sort of stands above the rest of superheroes in that he is this demigod sort of figure. If you look at the different interpretations of Superman, one of the things they keep coming back to is the Jesus imagery. In Smallville, in the very first episode, they have him strung up in a cornfield, very much like Jesus on the cross. In Man of Steel, he does the Superman thing, or the Jesus thing coming out of the spaceship, right? Jesus imagery is huge with Superman. And it goes back to his creation. This guy sent his only son from the house of El, which is a Hebrew word meaning God, to Earth to help solve our problems. So it is sort of the Moses, the Jesus imagery is really tied into Superman. So that brings up the question then, what does Superman look like in our modern world? What does he look like dealing with our everyday problems? Now obviously with COVID, probably not so much that Superman could do. That's a little out of his realm. But we do have a situation going on today where Superman might have a huge effect, and that is in the area of Ukraine. Given that the Ukraine is this huge international issue, I have to believe it would be a thing that Superman would be deeply concerned about. So before we get into it, I want to get into 3 ground rules. 1. I am not going to be looking at any sort of politics. This is not going to be a Republican-Democrat kind of conversation. If you're into that, there's probably other things you can go look at, but this is not going to be that. 2. I'm assuming that Superman cannot turn back time like he did in the Donner version. If Superman can spin around the world, take and change time, then that really means he can do anything, in which case this kind of thought experiment really isn't that exciting to do anyways. So, Superman cannot turn back time. 3. Given the complications of the issues, I think the primary thing Superman would be concerned about is the humanitarian issues. So we're going to look at Superman, how he would feel about dealing with those sorts of things. So, again, no politics, no turning back time. Superman is worried about people. These are our 3 things. Okay, so you're Superman. You have the power of flight. You are basically invulnerable, particularly since we don't have kryptonite in this world. You can lift things. You have X-ray vision. You have heat vision. Okay, so you have all these abilities that are far beyond the realm of us normal everyday people. So, now you've got this very tense situation in Ukraine. How should he handle it? The first thing Superman could do is he could sit it out, right? He could stay at home, watch it on CNN, say this is a human problem, I'm going to let human nations deal with this, and just let it be. There are some issues with that. 1, social media would kill Superman for doing such a thing, right? Twitter lives to destroy people. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you sit on, there is a contingent in Twitter who is just dying to destroy you. And social media would be all over Superman. I could see it, it would be all these pictures of all these terrible things happening in Ukraine, and people saying Superman has all this ability. He shouldn't just help people. It should be his responsibility, his moral obligation to go to Ukraine and help people out. Not only would that be a thing, but the regular media would be terrible to him. You know, the regular media, the mainstream media, basically breaks down between conservatives and liberals. And both sides would accuse Superman of having a political agenda. They'd be out there saying, Superman allows murder because he's not conservative enough, or he's not liberal enough. It would be a nightmare if you're poor Clark Kent sitting on your couch, going through your phone or watching TV, all these things, people would just be killing him for this. The third and final thing on Superman trying to sit it out is his own moral compass. As we've sort of stated at the beginning, Superman is all about caring for people. That is almost his defining trait, is how much he cares for people. Superman is a beacon of hope. And I think him sitting at home, watching all these things happen, I think it would hurt his heart. I think it would crush him emotionally. And I think Superman would find it very difficult to just sit at home and do nothing. Option number 2, Superman goes to war. He's like, that's it, the Russians have invaded, I'm going over there and I'm going to kick some butt, right? I'm going to solve this problem with all the powers that I've been given. I'm invulnerable, I'm fast, I'm strong, they'll never see me coming. Okay, so the first issue with Superman doing this is, in just about every iteration of Superman, Superman is loath to kill. Even on those very rare occasions that Superman does kill, it's always a terrible thing. And so how does Superman go to war? How does Superman stop the Russians in real life? Not with somebody drawing comics or directing a movie. In real life, how does Superman go to war without killing somebody? Right? That is going to be his biggest issue with doing that, at least for his own moral compass, is he's there to help people, and now he's going to kill other people. And let's face facts, a lot of those Russian soldiers probably don't want to be there to begin with, right? They are there, I hate to say this, use this term, following orders. I do not see Superman going through with his heat vision and wiping out brigades of Russian soldiers in order to save Ukrainians. That is not really part of his character. So, Superman goes to war, and he does his best to try not to kill people, right? But sooner or later, somebody's going to get killed. Probably a lot of people. With that much power, with that much firepower, even unintentionally, somebody is going to get killed due to Superman's intervention. How does that play out, right? Do kids still look up to Superman? Are they like, this is my hero, when they see on CNN somebody dying because of Superman's actions? How does Superman himself handle that, right? That would be a very tough thing for Supes, to kill a regular human being, somebody without superpowers, on accident. I think Clark would have a real problem with having that on his conscience. The next issue with that is, how do the Russians handle that, right? Superman basically wears an American flag on his chest. That is what his costume was designed. In the early days, it was truth, justice, and the American way. And regardless if Superman is just an alien from another planet, the Russians are probably going to view him as a weapon of the Americans. And how do they respond to that, right? Does that mean that they start launching nuclear missiles? Do they invade other countries? If they did, I don't think there's anything Superman could do to stop a nuclear war. Even in The Watchmen, where you have a even more godlike being, Dr. Manhattan, they assume that Dr. Manhattan can't be everywhere at every time to stop all the missiles. In the original Donner Superman, somehow he's able to fly around the world and put it back in time, but he can't catch the two missiles going two different directions. So we'll stick with that. Superman's not going to get to every missile, right? So Superman's intervention could lead to nuclear war. That's a problem. And that's a big question. So, maybe military intervention, Superman going to war, is not the best possible idea. Option 3. Superman provides humanitarian aid. And I think this is probably where he would try to fall, right? Superman goes to Ukraine. He tries to get civilians out of the way of Russian soldiers. That kind of thing. He's there to help, but not to actually interfere. I think this is a very compelling way to view Superman. And again, this is probably the way that I would lean with Superman. He tries to help. Again, though, we have the media, both regular and social. And I think both of these groups are going to be all over Superman, right? Because Superman, no matter how much humanitarian aid he allows, Superman can't be everywhere, and people are still going to die, and Ukraine is still going to get invaded. And even if he gets all the Ukrainians out, he's allowed the Russians to invade Ukraine and to take it over, and that's that. And that, I think that would be a very hard thing in the media on Superman. I think they would just crush him for that. The second issue with that is there is still the possibility that as he's pulling people out, that he comes in conflict with Russian soldiers. And again, now we have the possibilities of nuclear war breaking out, or a larger scale war breaking out. So again, very complicated for Superman. So this brings up a fourth option. And this one is a little spooky, but also very interesting, I think. What if, prior to the Ukrainian invasion, Superman goes, you know what? You human beings are a bunch of idiots. You are not capable of managing yourselves. So I, as Superman, am going to stand above the world and say, I forbid war. I will not allow one nation, no matter who it is, to invade another nation. And if you do, I will step in and there will be consequences. Right? Now this probably separates Superman from his comic book character quite a bit, but I think it's a fascinating thing to think about. Right? Because that's probably the easiest way to solve a problem like Ukraine, is not to even let it start in the first place. Superman goes, nope, not gonna do it. Very tempting, very interesting way of looking at it. But there are issues. The biggest issue is the nations wouldn't like it, right? The world is not gonna go for this demigod alien being to stand over the top of them and tell them what they can and can't do. You're not even a human being, and you're going to tell me how to run my country? They would have a very hard time with that. Two, we have a second question, and that is the problem of free will, right? Again, we get back to sort of that Jesus metaphor earlier. You have this demigod who stands above the world and says, I am not going to allow these evil acts to happen. Well, how does he choose? What are the evil acts that are okay, and what are the evil acts that aren't okay for Superman to allow happen? So he won't allow one country to invade another. Does he allow genocide inside of a country? This happens all the time throughout the world's history. Even today, you'll have people groups trying to wipe each other out simply for how they were or who they were born as. Does Superman do that? Does Superman allow rape? Like, once we get in the idea that Superman says, I am not going to allow people to do these things, we basically break into the issues that theologians struggle with free will, and how much evil can a benevolent God allow people to have. And that's where Superman ends up in this conversation. So, as you can see, being Superman with all of his powers, with all of his abilities, does not make for an easy solution to these problems that we have. These are not problems that you can just punch your way out of. These are thinking problems. These are philosophical problems. They are theological problems. They are problems that force us to think about the way we are as human beings and the way we relate to human beings. How do I think Superman would go about this? As I said earlier, I think he would go about it in a very humanitarian way. And that's sort of his nature. I don't know that he would be successful with it. I don't think Superman is the answer to our problems. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to try something a little bit different. I tend to think philosophically about the world around me. I have some more thoughts on some other movies and some other characters. We might do that later. Let me know in the comments below if you liked it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. I could really use the help. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great day.